Hello there guys, and I'm so happy you guys are back for the last and final part of JYP Entertainment, from where they started to where they are now. We left off with the creation of GOT7 in January 2014, but I wanted to reinstate something with you guys, that when GOT7 was made, it was made for a specific audience. We have seen other groups in the past made their debut for another type of audience. When 2PM made their debut, we see that their grungy beast hardcore vibe wasn't targeted for teenagers. It was for a more mature audience. So was Miss A and other groups that were in the past. Now with GOT7, we're targeting an audience that was missing an idol. Styles were changing, media was changing, and the new generation that was coming up was very different compared to the other groups that already made their debut. So JYP sat down and thought, what are we missing? This generation is coming up, is growing up real quick, is different than before. What are we missing? The new generation needed an idol that related to them, and JYP didn't have that by 2014 until GOT7 made their debut in January 2014, coming up with not only newer styles, fresh perspective, but also a variety of members. China, Taiwan, Korea, and Thailand were all mixed in one band, and it was fresh, it was new, and it was very much needed. And this is why, from my perspective, JYP back in the day for me was one of the best companies out there. We saw how fresh, how new, and how evolving they were with their audience compared to other companies but they weren't evolving as much as JYP was back in the day. JYP back then in the early 2000s was a lot of fans' favorites. They were putting out groups that were related to them, but also they felt like they connected more with these type of groups. Back in my day, this is my opinion and my perspective from what I've seen in the K-pop media. Back in the day, when you started getting into K-pop, you had three options. There were mainly the big three, which was SMYG and JYP. And then we are seeing here how their different styles and different way of showing themselves and presenting their idols were very, very different. For example, SM Entertainment was known for the very hard to enter company. It was very hard to get into, and they were most likely picked by their visuals, allegedly, and the way they presented themselves were this perfect, like, just up straight up front, sitting out straight, pretty, you're beautiful, you were putting things out there, you had a great, because mind you, all my favorite groups were from SM Entertainment, which was really, but at the same time, these groups were presenting themselves very differently than the other groups. We had YG, there was a gruntier, the emo, I'm gonna do whatever I want type of company, and we needed those. We needed that strict, very pretty, color pink, color white type of vibe, and then we had the emo, grungy, rock style, I don't care vibe from YG Entertainment, which comes in Big Bang and 21. At the same time, we had Girls' Generation and Super Junior. Those two they do not match. And then we have JYP right here, coming out with their own style, their own visions. And for that, people were very much amazed and were very intrigued on how you can have from 0 to 100, but still have JYP in the middle that will give you those skateboard type of vibes or b-boys type of vibes. And they did not care, and they were starting to add more members. That was my cat, I'm sorry. Starting to add more members internationally and being more open, and people related to that. Really, that Great Banks? Really? Sir. The disrespect. So going back to the companies, we saw how SM worked, we saw how YG worked, and now JYP is coming more innovative and more relatable to the audience, which is why GOT7, when they made their debut, blew away a bunch of the audiences. I'm not going to get into too much detail about GOT7 because GOT7 is going to have its own video, but GOT7 broke records, and GOT7 was something that was even new to JYP. As a member grew and they found their own identity, they wanted more creative control over GOT7 and GOT7's name as well. And by the end of their contract, even though the offer wasn't a bad one, they wanted to find their own music, their own talent, and their own way into the industry. So even though GOT7 hasn't disbanded, they all went their separate ways to explore other medias, other ways of expressing themselves in the music industry. Some even in the film industry. While all of this was happening and things were being changed, innovated, 2 more bands were created. You guys remember how Park Jimin was actually the winner of, I think it was Superstar or Star? Star? It was something star. K-pop star. Why didn't I remember? I participated. I didn't get in, but I was there. K-pop star season 2 actually made their debut, and they actually have a winner. And the winner was DAY6. DAY6J. How can I forget that? That's been controversial. DAY6 was formed on September 7, 2015. And after that, we have one of the biggest girl groups from 3rd gen moving forward. And that was TWICE. And you guys remember how JYP started doing this survival shows? And after 2 PM was created, he kind of got a liking into making this survival shows, making everybody compete with one another. And we're going to see how a pattern shows up with these survival shows. Because when GOT7 was being formed, now DAY6, we have a band that is actually a band. This is actually a band and people play instruments, and this is an actual band, which I love DAY6. I'm not even going to lie. But while this was all happening, TWICE was in a survival show called 16. And we see throughout this show that JYP tends to eliminate the best members. Momo, one of the members from TWICE, was actually eliminated from 16 and then brought back. Does this sound familiar? So let me explain to you how DAY6 works. And then how TWICE work as well. How these bands came together under the same company. So DAY6 is actually, was a 6-member boy band, like an actual boy band where people play instruments. And we know 2 of them that are very, very known in the K-pop media. One just came back from the military service, and that's Jungkook. And funny thing is, and here's the tea on this, one of the members, I think his name was Hyuk, made his debut under JYP Entertainment on DAY6, and I think it lasted like a month because he fell in love with a fan that he met on a fan sign, and now they're married. And I think they have a kid. Wish them all the best. But that didn't last long. So after that, the number 6 still stayed on DAY6, but they were 5 members. If you want a song recommendation, like I will recommend Colors. Colors? Colors from DAY6, from their first ever album. That song is fire. We also have, I'm going to read the names because I don't want to butcher them. So we have Sungjin, we have Jungkook, we had Wonpil, we have Dowoon, and Jay. We all heard of Jay. But I'm not going to get into that right now. If you guys want a separate video for DAY6, just let me know. Because I can go into great detail about DAY6. And then we have TWICE that made their debut on October 20th, 2015 with 9 members. I need to start drinking coffee because at this point I'm losing it. Now, TWICE consists of 9 members. And in this group, we also have Jihyo. Jihyo was one of the longest trainees under JYP Entertainment, being 10 years. And she made their debut at what, 19 years old? You remember when I said that most of these idols started very early? Jihyo is one of them. And we're going to see with Stray Kids how one of the members also stayed a very long time under JYP's wing, and didn't make his debut until he was 20, 21. Now that TWICE has made their debut, TWICE became one of the largest groups back in 2015, and still now it is. TWICE became one of the biggest groups that made their debut back in 2015, making JYP one of the largest companies in South Korea. TWICE also brought this nostalgia feeling of Girls' Generation, because Girls' Generation also consisted of 9 members, and they had similar styles. I've always said that the groups that were debuting in 3rd gen, even 4th gen, even nowadays 5th gen, were not trying to copy, but they were trying to bring the vibe from 1st gen and the people that led and opened the doors for K-pop to be known to this day to the new media. And in 2016, as JYP was branching out to other countries, he branched out to China. He has been doing this for a couple years until he actually created his full Chinese boy band members called Boy Story. And let me tell you something about this group, because they did release a song in September 1st, 2017 called How Old Are You? But my question is, how old are they? Because a picture of them, I'm going to see if I can post a picture of them. They're tiny. Like, these are boys, literally, like, It's not like Stray Kids. They aren't kids anymore. These are boys. They should be called boy kids or story kids or story children. Anyways, this was JYP's way to head their way fully towards the Chinese media. This was very common back in the day. A lot of people were introducing Chinese members and making Chinese groups specifically to target Chinese media so they can grow their audience quicker, faster, and with a lot of benefits with them. And you know what's also funny? As all of this is happening, business is happening as well. And while people are here doing fan wars of what company is better, what they do this, these companies are affiliating with one another. In 2018, SM, Big Hit, and JYP signed and they did a collaboration and worked with one another to create a new platform. So Flow was created. In the first half of 2018, thanks to this collaboration and the new groups making their debut, JYP became one of the largest corporations out there. And this was thanks to TWICE, GOT7, and the new app. So after these groups debuted, JYP went from being number 3 to being number 2nd, and then YG being number 3rd. I think that will change later on. SM was still number 1 until HYBE conquered the world. Guess what's coming next? Yes, pues claro que yes. In March 25th, 2018, we are welcoming none other than Stray Kids. Stray Kids will have his own video because I think they deserve that attention just for themselves, just like the other groups. But Stray Kids had it the hardest out of majority of JYP boy groups. And you know what's also funny is that while you're looking for information, Stray Kids is not mentioned that much under JYP Entertainment. You have to look outside and for a lot of other resources to find information on Stray Kids. They just mentioned Stray Kids and then they moved to ITZY in 2019. And then you're like, are you forgetting what Stray Kids is bringing to not only JYP but to the K-pop media as well? Stray Kids became one of the only groups that produce, write their own music and put out their own music. There are 3 members under Stray Kids. No. So Stray Kids consisted of 9 members when they make their debut. And yes, I'm going to talk about this because even though he's not part of the group anymore, it's part of their history. So they debuted as a 9-member group and made their debut that same year. And you know what's funny is that even the name itself, Stray Kids, it gives you a way that they were like lost. They were strays. They were looking for a way to fit in this Korean media that, you know, they were under a lot of pressure because you have TWICE that have made headlines everywhere. We're going to talk about this when TWICE comes up in their own video. So did GOT7. So these boys pressured into being as high as standards as their previous brother-sister groups. So these are boys that were left to literally fend for themselves. They were like a trial group that JYP just launched to people and was like, figure it out. 3 other members created a group called 3 Russia, which they produce and write their own lyrics and put out their own music, which is why they have the highest copyrighted songs and mentions because they are owners of their own music. If they want to leave, they don't have to say anything to JYP because everything is theirs. Including the name, including the logo. Everything is theirs. Later on the next year, one of the members decided to leave the group with allegations and things that were proven, you know, personal and apparently false, allegedly. So that member parted ways and the group stayed as an 8-member group. And while Stray Kids was doing this survival show, again, we go into JYP removing 2 key members that we're going to see that were very much necessary and they're very much important into the group, which was Lino and Felix. So the group consisted of Bangchan, the leader. We have Lino, Changbin, Hyunjin, Han, I'm counting because I always forget one, Han, Felix, Sunmin, and Ian. But as they were doing this survival show, Lino and Felix were eliminated. And you're thinking, why does JYP keeps deleting or eliminating the members that are very much key? Not only are they good, but they're necessary to the integration of a new group. Mind you, Lina was a backup dancer for Bangtan. Like, you just don't dance or make it as a backup dancer just because you're okay. Like, Lino is a very clean professional dancer, and Felix brings the lower deep voice that is needed into the integration of vocals. You cannot just make music with just one tone and one voice. He brings that charm. His dance moves are also fantastic to the group. Everything that these guys bring were necessary for Stray Kids to be formed. So why are you deleting and eliminating them, JYP? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? It's like baking. You don't skip steps. You don't eliminate steps to make a great ass chocolate chip cookie. Without Lino and Felix, the chocolate cookie would have never been formed. I want a chocolate cookie now. And we will see this as Stray Kids became their first group to be a million seller under JYP Entertainment. And you're eliminating her members? Get it together. Dude, no. So after Stray Kids made their debut, they decided to focus on the girl groups again because they hadn't debuted a girl group in 4 years. So as you see, we have a pattern of every couple of years, we need to spice it up. So in 2019, ITZY was formed that consists of 5 members. And ITZY again targeted a female audience that were missing since 2008, 2011, because this group reminds me a lot of FX. And they had the spunky, the colorful, the vibe of FX had when they made their debut. And I'm going to talk about FX later on. That was under SM Entertainment because it's a 5 members just like this one. And it brings up that new and refresh type of vibe to a group that was actually in need, especially the female audience, because we're here talking about the boy groups and how the boy groups unchanged. And even though TWICE did have a big impact, they had a different style than ITZY does. ITZY's more pop, more stylish. And then we have here TWICE that is more cute, has other focuses than that. They don't like, don't compare these two groups. TWICE brings something that ITZY doesn't bring, and ITZY brings something that TWICE doesn't bring. They two fit well together because they bring what the other one is missing. So during this time, China decided to close its doors into the K-pop community, K-pop music, because they needed a more manly type. You can search it, it's right there. But after China decided to close its doors into the K-pop community, they had to find another target, another big target that will make their promotions beneficial as China did. And that was Japan. Kind of like moves my blood. Because now he was doing auditions to make a new group. After you just debuted ITZY in 2019, you were in the process of making another one. And this one, yes, the main target was Japan, but you're also looking at other places as well. So they were looking at 8 cities in Japan, Hawaii, and LA. And the requirements were 15-year-olds to 22-year-olds. Why are you looking for minors? This was named the NIZY project, NIZY project. And it was a survival documentary that was going to be with 20 contestants participating for this survival show. And then whoever finishes off was going to debut in NIZY. And then in 2020, NIZY was formed after that survival show. And survival shows are like triggering to people. You mean, we're not going to talk about Kingdom. And I guess after 2 PM was formed, he got a liking to making survival shows to make people just fight over who wants to be under JYP. You need therapy. So NIZY was formed, and NIZY actually contains of 9 members out of the 20 that participated. And they're under Sony Japan, which they're going to be their management team that is like collaborated with JYP Entertainment, so they can focus on their sales, their promotions, all under that label in Japan. As these groups are growing, as they're promoting, GOT7 decided to go their separate ways, find themselves into the social media. TWICE still under the label, and just to let you know, they renewed their contract with JYP. NIZY just made their debut in 2020. Stray Kids is still breaking records, becoming million sellers, and the group that had no faith, that JYP had no faith, is now showing them to shut up and let me do our thing, and we're going to show you what we're at. So now we are working on the American business. They decided that in 2021, Republic Records was going to sign to promote TWICE and Stray Kids and sell their albums here in the States. So now you can find them at your local Target, Walmart. On 2021, JYP decided to have a new band, and this is where Extraordinary Heroes come in, making their debut in 2021. And again, just like DAY6, they have 6 members and made their debut in December 6, 2021, with their song Happy Death Day. You see the pattern with like JYP? I think they know when a group is gonna leave, or when a group is like close to ending and they knew that they're not gonna renew. They need to come up with like another group before this one leaves. And you cannot compare the new groups with the old groups. DAY6 has nothing to do with Extraordinary Heroes. GOT7 has nothing to do with Stray Kids, and GOT7 has nothing to do with 2PM. They don't have the same style at all. And later on in 2022, we have NMIX, another girl group under JYP Entertainment. NMIX made their debut on February 22nd, 2022 with 7 members, but one of the members decided to leave due to personal reasons, and now it consists of 6 members. And as we see here, we have Lily in this group, that it is considered the foreigner in the group, because even though she's Korean, she was raised and born in Australia. Let me tell you guys something. JYP, when it comes to vocals and dancing, they're never wrong. I know, different like lighting, but I forgot to mention something very, very, very important. And it's that JYP decided to be a born again Christian. So he now is very, very dedicated to the church. After his very painful divorce, and I didn't talk about his personal life because honestly it's nobody's business, but after his divorce, he decided that he wanted to be a born again Christian and devote his life to the church because of the void he felt in his heart. So now he does weekly Bible studies. He has also done a lot of charity work and working with the Green Umbrella Foundation to raise money and awareness and to help the children in need. And in present time, he's actually on tour promoting his new song and album called Groove Back, and people are loving it. I heard something about Groupons. Yeah. But after so many years, he actually went to Japan to promote and do the solo tour, and it has been 7 years since he went to Japan by himself to promote music. So I think he's getting his groove back after all. Okay, editing me done, let's get back. Well, the creations of these new groups actually not only make the groups very successful, but the company as well, making their stock prices skyrocket after ITZY and Mixed Stray Kids came into light. As the groups are actually being very much successful, the company is taking part of that as well, of course. So their stock market started growing. Their stock started growing. They grew in 1 year after these groups made their debut and became very much successful. They grew 1.3 trillion more than they did previous years. In 2022, TWICE members decided to renew their contract, and the members that are still under DAY6 decided to renew their contract as well. We're having Jae and Jonghyuk depart from the group, so now the group consists of 4 members. JYP Entertainment started with everything that you probably thought was never going to be successful, and he had decided that he was going to make a difference, and he did. He has not only created a great company, he has moved buildings. He has expanded throughout China, Hong Kong, Japan, and the US with groups that are making an impact, and they're growing with the audience that are happening right now. This new generation has a lot more opportunities than the others had. And when 2PM made their debut, they didn't have the social media that they now have nowadays. Now we have Stray Kids making TikToks. Is that the social media nowadays has become so influential that the way that JYP decided to promote a song was, through TikTok, through social media to Instagram, having a bunch of other groups perform this dance as well. And let me tell you, they were very excited to promote this. From starting a company with an idea to making a debut as a solo artist to creating a multi-billion-dollar empire, we just have to say JYP has given us great groups, has given us a great influence, and we can't say anything but thank you. But we also have to understand that this is a Korean media. This is a media that is very foreign to us. We will never know what's going on behind those 4 walls. So instead of attacking a company, let's do research. Let's see what it is about. And even though I give you all this information, I still don't know what's going on in that company on the inside. So when we're trying to get into these groups and into the company, let's remember these are also human beings that are working hard, that are trying to follow their dreams. And as a group, as a fandom, and as a generation that is growing rapidly, we also have to remember that these people are trying to grow with us, are trying to fulfill what the company wants plus what the audience wants. And at the end of the day, the only difference between us and them is that their life, their profession, and even their private endeavors are being put to the public eye. Whatever I do will never be known unless I decided to share with you guys. But they always have a camera on their face. So just remember to be kind, be delicate, and remember these are also human beings. And also don't forget, you also can follow your dreams. Doesn't matter where you started. So wish you guys all the best. Thank you guys for enjoying this JYP part 2. And then next week, I'm going to come with a fresh new perspective, a fresh new artist that actually guided the way for other artists to a type of music, a type of dance, and a type to promote and where to promote as well. This person was my beginnings to the K-pop dance, to the covers, to everything, and I can't wait to share with you guys what this person has to offer and what this person did offer till nowadays, because they're still very much active. So please stay kind to one another, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.